Welcome to Integrate Yourself, everybody. I'm your host, Allison Pillow, and you can find me at finallythrivingbook.com and pureenergypdx.com. Today, I have a special guest who's back on the show, Tom Paladino. He is a scalar energy researcher based in Florida. Scalar energy, as we talked about on the last episode, is the fundamental life force found everywhere in the world, space, and universe. It originates from the sun and stars. Chi, prana, om, mana, life force, pyramid energy, or 0 point energy are synonymous terms for scalar energy. He theorized that all energy in the universe initiates as scalar energy, and that the sun of our solar system and the stars of the universe are the points of origin, the storehouses for scalar energy. He further theorized that scalar energy is instructive energy, as the entire universe is instructed by this divine essence. Subsequently, all spiritual, cognitive, emotional, and physical action in the universe is initiated and maintained by scalar energy instructions. Scalar energy provides order in the universe. Tom, thanks so much for coming back on the show. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Likewise. Thank you for the invitation once again.
Oh, you're so welcome. We had such a great show last time, and it was received so well by my listeners. I got so many people that loved it. And as well, I think soon after you got to go on Paul Check's podcast, Living 4D, and he heard about you from maybe me or somebody else. I don't know, or maybe everybody. But yeah, I was just like, I loved our last show together. So I'm excited to get into what we'll get into today, because you said also you have some new stuff you've been working on that you wanted to share as well.
Yes. Thank you. It's this topic, scalar energy. It's a new technology, so to speak, and the world is just starting to catch on what can be achieved with this new technology. So brace yourself. We're going to change the world in the next 5 to 10 years.
That's exciting. And I feel like it's like, so to speak, like this is, excuse my terminology here, but like things are really coming to light, because, because it really is. I mean, light, like you said, like I described in the description, or like I said in the description, is information. It's really information that comes to us through in the form of light. And so when we realize that, we can it's something that we take in, we don't have to think about, we just kind of download it, so to speak. So I'd love to get into that also, and how it works. Maybe you could just, for those people who didn't hear the first show, maybe just get into exactly how it works, and maybe how you also stumbled into this as well.
Yeah. So I work with what is known as scalar energy, or some people call that 0 point energy. It's not electricity. And with that in mind, I have an energy spectrum that is outside of electricity and magnetism. So it's a new playground, to be quite blunt. It's a new field of science. It has so much to offer, but now we simply have to uncover these hidden secrets of nature. So I've developed scalar energy instruments that control this energy. And with that, if you can control this energy, you can perform scientific functions. You can do incredible things with this energy. So that's where I'm at right now, as of this recording, with these unique scalar energy instruments. My ability to control this energy is it's a gift from God, and it betters our lifestyle. It serves to improve the human condition.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, because especially like in this day and time where we're afraid of the sun and we're all wearing sunscreen. Not everybody, but that's kind of
Yeah.
the collective's idea of staying healthy. And so it's a society where we're kind of afraid of light, in some ways. So you don't have to be afraid of it, because it's here to help. So it may I'd love to get into also just giving everybody an idea of how you do this work with people, how you treat them with a photograph, and it doesn't matter where they are in the world. It's like any kind
Right.
of energy work, right? So, like
Yeah.
distance healing, it is what I call it.
Yes.
So maybe let's get into that and just explain a little bit how
Okay.
that works too.
So if I'm holding up a cell phone, so if we can make a connection with a person by, if you will, our voice is a signal. It's a signal in our cell phone. Then I work with people by way of the photograph because a photograph carries a person's signal. The light on the photograph is the signal of the person, just as a cell phone carries our voice signal. So people from around the world email me photographs, and I work in the quantum field now through a person's photograph. That's what's so incredible about this energy. You don't need to be physically present. Again, this is a 0 point energy, what some people might call the space-time continuum. Now, if that's the case, then we can access a person by their force field just by a photograph.
Right. And so 0 point energy is basically where time doesn't exist. So you can really,
Yes,
yeah, so you can you
yes,
can get any information within that realm, right?
yes.
Yeah.
You're a genius. Very well spoken. So my photograph, this photograph might be, say, 3 years old, but it still carries my present day signature, meaning what? No matter how old the photograph, it still reports now because scan energy is timeless, as you put it. And this photograph can report whether I'm drowsy, whether I need vitamin C, if I have the herpes virus. This photograph is my report card, my energetic report card.
So how does I know, I know how the quantum field works, but for those of people who don't understand it so much, how does it work with healing? Because I know personally from what I've experienced and how I've helped people is in the quantum field, things can be healed in an instant. And that really
Yes.
changes our perspective of what we think of healing, especially in this country and what we've, witnessed the past couple of years. Because we tend to think about our condition or our disease as being something that is with us forever. But in the quantum field, you can basically heal it, and like I said, in an instant. So,
Right.
yeah, would you care to expand
Yeah.
on that a little bit?
I'm gonna. That's a good point. So, how does this work? Let's say I have, or I suspect that I have this bacterium, Streptococcus mutans. It's responsible for oral and contamination for periodontal disease. Now, I could actually place this photograph of this bacterium inside the instrument, and then the instrument would look for that in my quantum field. If this bacterium is found in my quantum field, it would act instantaneously and it would instantaneously unbind or eradicate Streptococcus mutans.
Yeah, because
Everything
yeah, it's
it's
just an energy,
instantaneous
right?
action.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, and so
exactly.
in the energetic field, like energy can be changed very fast, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And your machine that you're mentioning, that's based on the technology of Tesla,
Yes,
correct? Yeah.
exactly. In many ways, I copied two scientists, Nikola Tesla and Galen Hieronymus. Now, both of those men were what I consider um, incredible examples of scalar energy researchers, theorists, and also inventors. And when I really look at how advanced the scientist is, if they can create an instrument to control an energy, my goodness, that shows that they have a grasp of the subject. Well, Tesla and Hieronymus had that grasp. Both of them invented scalar energy instruments. The team that I work has developed scalar energy instruments. So the key to this function is to have an instrument that can control that energy. Much like if you said you really understood electricity, okay, invent something that can control electricity. Show me that you have that grasp of the electrical science so that you not only in theory can explain electricity, but in practice you can control it with some type of an instrument. Well, we have that instrument. And that proves that yes, that this is an energy, that this is a valid theory, and that you can do incredible things with energy. That's the key. This is a tool. This is a benefit to mankind. I want my research to benefit mankind.
Yes, yeah, and it's, something that isn't really widely known about, mainly because maybe it's healing people.
But why don't we hear more about this? That's a good point. Why? Well, it's frankly, it's a threat. It's an easy way to um, achieve a function. Now, today we use electricity and it's rather expensive, or we use some type of instrumentation that's rather expensive. My scalar energy instrument can, in an instant, can look for Streptococcus mutans and eradicate it from a person, all by way of their quantum field. Now, keep in mind, this is not a biological process. You don't visit me. I only work with your spirit or your signature, your quantum. So what am I getting? You can work with a person biologically, or you can work with a person energetically. I prefer to work with people energetically because nothing can go wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not working with chemicals.
the physical is a manifestation of the energetic anyway, so that's
Yes,
really getting to the root of the issue, right?
yes, yes. Why put the cart before the horse? So the
Yeah.
energy, the quantum field, dictates the physical reality. Well, why not work with the cause, which is the energy, the light, the source of light, and therefrom you can affect, advantageously the outcome, the physical outcome. So this is an instructional instrument. We can instruct the quantum field, and in turn, we see there are physiological benefits.
Now, Tom, do you think that the electricity in our environment and the EMFs and those kinds of things are disrupting that
Okay,
field within
I
us?
do,
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. And to put this into context, and I believe Tesla believed this, there's two energies, scalar energy and electromagnetic energy. Now, scalar energy, Tesla never had any adverse effects with scalar energy. He thought it was really health betting. He felt that his health improved. But with electricity, amongst other things, you could shock yourself. There are times that Tesla witnessed scalar energy vis-a-vis electricity, and Tesla was shocked sometimes working with AC electricity. It's dangerous, and hence it does have other health implications, such as some people think too much EMF, electromagnetic energy, will cause cancer or some type of autoimmune condition. I agree with that. Electricity, certain frequencies of electricity are harmful to the human body, as opposed to scalar energy, the energy of the stars, that Tesla never observed any negative consequence. So what are we getting at? Why not use scalar energy? There's no negative consequence.
Right. Even radiation is not a problem, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Sometimes you have that spontaneous decay, that spontaneous emission of particles with radioactivity. There is no radioactivity with scalar energy. See, everything is stable in the constant state, as opposed to radioactivity, where the atomic nuclei are disrupted and they're giving off harmful vibrations or harmful radiations. So let's move from electricity into the quantum realm, a much better energy, scalar energy. So what do I
Yeah.
propose? Everything we're doing with electricity can be replaced by scalar.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And your approach also is that it's unlimited and it really comes from a single source in the
Yes.
universe. And it's probably something we've used for millennia, but we just forgot about, is my guess.
Yeah. We have many people say that an obelisk or a pyramid will capture scalar energy. I believe that's true. Yes. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, those are passive capacitors of scalar energy.
Right. And then yeah, yeah. So your theory is that the pyramids were collecting scalar light, is what you're
Yeah,
saying? Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Many of those pyramids, and I think some of those pyramids could only be created by an angel or a fallen angel. Those pyramids were very advanced. And many of those pyramids have a geometry about them where they can collect scalar energy and actually broadcast scalar energy. that's another conversation. But let's just say many cultures have embraced this idea that the sun gives off a great deal of heat, light, energy, and that there are two energies. And sadly, we have addressed electromagnetic energy, which is limited, harmful, and pollutes, as opposed to scalar energy that is life giving, unlimited, has no pollution, has no carbon footprint.
Yeah, well, this is so interesting because we're in a day and time where we're trying to, reduce the carbon footprint, and people are talking about it all the time, and climate change and all of these things. And so, I mean, what is your theory, Tom, on why did we go in that direction? Why didn't we go in the other direction, you know?
It's called money.
Yeah.
It's called that's the bottom line. I'll say it. It's called money. Now, what am I getting at? Well, Tesla over 100 years ago developed a car that ran on star power, sun power. He took out the combustion engine and replaced it with a radiant engine or a scalar energy engine. Tesla was using a car that would operate under the influence of scalar energy and assume that energy right from the atmosphere. So if you can get your fuel source, so to speak, from the atmosphere, from the air, that's free energy. That's what Tesla was doing. And Tesla built towers that were giving off broadcasting that free energy. Okay, so let's advance 100 years now. Why aren't we using scalar energy cars that will not pollute, that simply run on star power? Why aren't we using scalar energy towers like Tesla created that would have sent energy out to every home and factory in the world? Well, there's no money in free energy, or there's very little money in free energy. And
Right.
because of that, Tesla's advances, his incredible inventions, although valid, very, very true, very accurate, have never been embraced.
What's the difference between Tesla's technology with harnessing the energy of the sun and stars and solar panels? Is there a big difference, or is that
Yep.
the same thing?
It's the same concept, but sadly, we're taking a solar panel and we're converting it into electromagnetic energy,
Oh,
which
I
is
see.
limited, which is limited. Now, if we had a scalar energy panel that would keep it with the scalar realm, the scalar magnitude, if you will, then we would probably get a much greater gain from our solar panels. Sadly, even academia today doesn't realize that there's two possibilities. There's two energies.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate because I feel like
Yeah,
that's we would be there would be so much more potential there. Well, I feel like
yeah,
we're very limited with how we're doing it, and you see it
yeah,
in everything, in the way people talk about energy and how it's scarce and
yeah.
all of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
You hit the
incredible.
nail on the head. The word is scarce, scarcity.
Yeah.
Anytime you have a business, an economic model, some type of enterprise, you have to look at your resources and how scarce they are. Well, oil, coal, even nuclear power is scarce. It's expensive, as opposed to the stars that have unlimited energy. You don't have to build them. The stars are already there. You just have to capture the energy. So now it's going to dawn upon people that, oh, why are we not using scalar energy? It's abundant, and all we have to do is tap into it.
So can people's bodies harness this energy as well
Yeah,
from the sun and stars? Yeah.
every second. And it's incumbent upon life. I
Yeah, and
firmly believe
yeah,
that scalar energy is the cause of DNA. I've
that's what I
said
think
repeated.
too. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. In other words, what they call it, the life molecule. What gives the life molecule the life? What gives it its geometry? How do you structure this double helix? Scalar energy is a double helix, and it's my contention that powerful energy, a scalar wave, creates our double helix,
Because
our
it's
DNA,
actually what's that? Sorry.
our DNA.
Yes,
Yes,
because the light is information.
yes.
Yes. And so it gives us a different perspective as it comes in.
Yes. So
Yeah.
anybody who tries to discount the scalar energy say, well, no, you're wrong. Our DNA is a standing wave of scalar energy. We would not exist if scalar energy did not download or give us that motif, if you will. all life is dependent upon scalar energy. If we shut off the scalar energy in the universe, everybody's genomic structure would fall apart, would fly apart. So the point
Wow.
being, yes, the point being that scalar energy is really the life molecule force. It gives expression to DNA.
Yeah, yes, I believe that as well. And so, I do a meditation every day, Tom, where I bring in light and I fill all my cells in my body up with light. I do this
Yes,
every day so I can connect with the light.
yes,
And that's a way that I do it. But I also get out in the sun as well. So there's many different ways you can do that. And in your description, and I remember talking to you this last time too about plants, how the light for humans is very much like the process of photosynthesis for plants, right? And
yes. Yeah.
yeah, so we
Let,
have
let
to
me
have it.
let me explain that statement. There's an experiment to back that up. My predecessor, a man by the name of Galen Hieronymus, had a scalar energy instrument. He grew plants in his basement in the dark with scalar energy. The plants had no experience of sunlight. It was pitch black in his basement, but he ran a wire from his roof down into his potted plants, and those potted plants were under the influence of scalar energy. And the plants were thriving. They grew in the dark. And I've always contended, by way of that experiment, that the primary cause behind any photosynthesis is scalar energy, whereas electricity and magnetism have a secondary effect. But you can grow plants in the dark exclusively with scalar energy, proving that scalar energy is the prime mover of photosynthesis.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question because it's for people who live in more cloudy climates, like here in Portland during the winter, it's long stretch of clouds. But I feel like the scalar energy, but you can still access that even when the sun's not out, is what you're saying. I hear you saying.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
exactly, precisely. And
Yeah.
this is the great promise, people. Sure, some people in the Northwest where you live, there's cloudy conditions in the winter. Well, imagine it doesn't matter whether there's clouds or not because starlight, sunlight is always with us. Imagine if we could funnel that wire into our basements or into our homes and grow plants indoors. You could do that. You could do that
Right.
regardless of how bright the sun might be, according to sunshine, the electromagnetic spectrum. You can grow plants in the dark. You can grow plants in the middle of the winter if you have a scalar energy instrument.
Wow, that's incredible. Oh my goodness. So there's so much we don't know about this yet, but we're learning. We're learning about it. Because it's coming, like you said, from the quantum energy field. And many people are just now learning about that. We've been so much in the physical, and we think everything is, we're in this 3D reality, but I feel like as this, this is actually since I last saw you, I've noticed these I guess scalar light upgrades that we've been harnessing, these energy upgrades, and people have been talking about it, and I believe that it is changing our consciousness, the level of
Yes.
our consciousness.
Yes. You considered it instructive energy. You're absolutely right. You're an expert in this, by the way, Allison, so keep
Thank
up the
you.
good work. Meaning what? Well, this energy, if it's from the stars, then it's giving it off not only energy for the universe, but intelligence for the universe. Energy carries information, intelligence. And that's what we've tapped into. If you can tap into unlimited energy, it really is unlimited intelligence.
And that's abundant mindset, not scarcity, right?
Yes. So we have to get. Let's not believe the mantra of the one world order that everything is scarce. They want us to believe that. Believe in the superabundance of God, and there is superabundance. And once you remove yourself from this trap, okay, from that mindset, a lot of people have been trapped into that mindset and realize that God has a much better plan and that there is superabundance. that will change society.
Oh, I believe so too. I believe so too. Well, I would love for you to share what we talked about before the show started about some of the things you've been working on since we last
Yeah.
saw each other and some of the new findings that you've
Yeah.
had.
We work with many people around the world, once again, by way of a photograph, either a single photograph or a collection, a collage of photographs. Now, I am working with HIV/AIDS clinics around the world. And I
Wow.
don't visit those clinics, and those people don't come to my laboratory. Everything is done by way of a photograph. So people will send us photographs. Many of them are HIV positive. They have the HIV virus, some of them for years. And then I send energy, instructive energy, which is scalar energy, into the force field of a person or a group of people. And in so doing, we're able to break down the bonds that hold together the HIV virus. We can actually shatter those bonds that hold together HIV.
Wow.
And if you can shatter a germ, if you can disassemble a microbe, it ceases to exist. Now, the only proof I have is after I work with a person's photograph, collages, if you will, around the world, many clinics, HIV clinics, will send me a group photograph. The people invariably say that they feel better. Many people say that they no longer have the symptoms of HIV. And those who take it a step further and want to follow up with a PCR test, those PCR tests are negative, no viral load.
Wow.
No viral load. Now, I say that this is the beginning evidence of this new science. How many of you in the audience have ever heard that you can take a photograph, identify the HIV virus, and then break it apart or eradicate the HIV virus? Well, I don't think this has been done before, with the exception of what I have done and what Hieronymus, my predecessor, has done. Meaning, this is a new science. My technique is unique. I'm trying to speak to the world as to this new technique. I don't expect people to understand this, to be quite frank. It's never been done before.
Yeah, but we're heading into a time where we're creating all new things. So we're having to, let go of the old programming, what we thought was true, in my experience anyway. And this is the work I've been doing too, and embrace a new creation. And so I think this is wonderful that you've done this, Tom. And
Mm.
uh, you know, my other question would be, how are people receiving this? I mean, I know the people you're working with, they seem like they're getting wonderful results.
Yeah.
My guess would be, I mean, the medical industry would really benefit by embracing this, or at least, trying it. But I wonder, like,
This,
if you're getting any feedback in that realm about this.
we're all grassroots right now. And for the most part, the people carry this. The people are the ones who are the flag bearers, if you will. And they carry the scalar energy banner. Now, I believe you're correct. If the medical community would open their eyes to this, they would realize that there is so much more they can do now, that this is not going to limit their practice. This will expand their practice. But hopefully, we'll have to have some men and women of science, medical science, come forward and be open to that. You really need to work with some noble people, not people who are short-sighted.
Right,
So
right.
that day is coming, and we're gaining attention around the world. I'd be quite blunt. If people at an HIV clinic feel better, and none of them have the HIV virus that of a detectable viral load, after I work with them, there's no detectable viral load for HIV. That word starts to permeate throughout society, and you cannot keep this down.
Right. So it sounds like you are getting a lot of people around from other parts of the world that are wanting to do this. And
Yeah.
what is your what are you getting doctors from other parts of the world, or people in the health industry to start to want to learn more about this?
Not quite. Not
Okay.
quite.
Yeah.
Many times when I work with an HIV clinic and the attending physician sees that people no longer have any detectable viral load, the physician or the nurse is impressed, and at least they're open to that. but they're not quite putting it all together that if you can send Tom a photograph, then X leads to Y, and they're not making that connection quite yet. So hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll see that this is a valid science. This is going
Yeah.
to take some time.
Yeah, I imagine so. And the photograph for everybody listening is really a tool. It's just a tool to do what, is what you really can do anything in the quantum field, and so it's beyond the physical. I just want to put that out there for people who
Exactly.
are trying to understand this, because I know I've been in, as Tom knows, I've been in energy healing for a very long time. So I have a different understanding of that than I think most people do, unless they're in this field also. But when you've been working with energy and in the quantum field where there's really no time, it's the same thing with, when you're doing inner child work, it's a very similar thing. You can heal all parts of yourself right now, even if it happened in the past, because there is no time in the quantum field. So we can heal
Yes.
things in an instant. So this is
Yes.
what we're working with here. This is what Tom's working with. And so when you guys think about this, it's not in this kind of a 3D physical reality realm, it's more in the energetic realm.
Yes. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. So
Yeah.
we have to consider this is another dimension. Scalar energy does not behave like electricity. So what I'm proposing is a new science, a new way of looking at reality. Now, I realize it's somewhat peculiar that you can take a person's photograph, place it in an instrument, and the instrument then can perform functions, light functions on the photograph, improving the quantum health of the photograph and then accordingly of the person's force field. That's my statement. Are you going to find that in a university textbook? Not yet.
Yeah,
Not
I
yet.
mean, just from my experience of this past, couple of years or so, uh, God, I feel like we've taken quite a few steps back with the health industry. I feel like we're kind of going in a, and again, the history with holistic view of health also um has been squashed over the years too, and we've kind of moved into this more like mainstream medical physical model, which there are some things about it, yes, that are helpful, but I think there's not enough integration with some of the energetic work like other cultures have, especially in the East, where they do incorporate chi healing with a lot of their medical procedures, and it's very effective. And so when I did pranic healing, when I went through all of that, I realized that they were using these chi healing techniques. Medical doctors were using these chi healing techniques on their patients, and they were getting great results. And so as we move through these upgrades of energy, is what I call it, and we start to have these consciousness levels that are rising with the scalar light upgrades, we begin to step into these other dimensions of reality where we actually can do more. So it's going to be different than what we have known in the past. And so moving forward, like some of these techniques are going to happen very quickly, and they'll be much more effective in some ways.
Yeah,
Whereas before, maybe not as much, but still very effective.
yeah,
But I think, as more people start to realize that this is something they can access and use for their own health, and I think it's wonderful,
yeah.
more effective as well that
And
way too. Yeah.
yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you for stating that. What do I propose here? I propose quantum healing for the world. Today in
Yeah.
my laboratory, Allison, I work with 500,000 photographs.
Wow.
We're growing. We're growing significantly. We
That's
offer
great to
free,
hear.
yeah, thank you. We offer free sessions on our website. We receive hundreds, thousands of photographs every day. And the numbers add up. Why? It works. People feel better.
Yeah,
So
people
those
wouldn't
of you,
keep sending you their photos if it didn't work. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And those in the viewing audience, I realize this is new. It's different. If the first time you've ever heard of it, I don't know of anybody else in the world who's telling you to send their photograph and they're going to place your photograph in a quantum instrument. That's what I'm telling you. Is it real? I believe this is a very valid science. Yes. What I've uncovered, what Tessa and Hieronymus have uncovered, is fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah, it is fascinating. It's amazing that we haven't learned more about that, and they,
You're right. If you look at Tesla, Tesla had 400 patents in his lifetime. A
wow.
brilliant, a genius. Why isn't he taught in high school and college?
Yeah,
Because his work intimidates the status quo. Because if we accept what Tesla did, then we accept the prospect of scalar energy, which is free energy. And the status quo does not want free energy.
yeah, yeah. So and it's interesting. They're just trying to harness the electromagnetic energy in a different way that they're packaging up to be better for the earth, and it's really not actually
It's
because it
not. That's not what I call green energy. That's
no.
still energy that pollutes. It's not green energy.
Yeah, it's just a different way of speaking about it,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. It's a twist on words. It's not green. I can guarantee you that much. So, let's put that aside. Where are we going with this? I simply want to give away free sessions on my website. I want people to try, experience this. And then if this works, tell your friends and family. The reason I accentuate that, I have to get this message out there. Mainstream media would not touch me with a 10-foot pole, with a 20-foot pole, because this is a challenge to the status quo. So I tip my hat to you. Thank you again, Allison.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you
so
for being
welcome.
bold enough to take this interview on, to at least consider the quantum field, the 0 point energy field, the new science that's emerging, a science that will liberate mankind. We're going to
I
liberate the
believe s
world finally.
I believe that too. Yeah, it's gonna empower people to
Yes,
know that everything is right here. You don't have to try so hard to make it work.
I know. I know if you look at the past 2 3 centuries over the fight that we have over oil or resources, there have been many wars, many skirmishes that have been fought for money, oil, gold, resources. Scalar energy will make everything super abundant, and
Yeah, that's the
you won't
future.
go to yes, you won't have to go to war for oil or gold.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, because I know we're heading into this territory. People are talking about it, this state of abundance. And then some people call it new earth. And so maybe this is the key that people didn't know about here. So
Yeah,
this is fantastic. Yeah.
yes, it is.
Well, thank you, Tom. And you are, let me just quickly share with everybody that you're giving away 15 days of free sessions available on your homepage, which I will go ahead and make a note of in the show notes here so people can access that. And I will say that I've done it and it was incredible. And I just, and I actually, I knew a lot of other people who did it after I did it too. And I talked to them about it and they were loving it. And like I said, I may have mentioned this in the beginning. You were on Paul Check, one of my mentors' podcasts, and a lot of people loved you on his show too. So that was really great. And my
Thank
friend
you.
Roseanne Grace, I think, did it too. So I know a lot of people who've done it, and they're just they've seen great results. So yeah, thank you so much, Tom, for coming
Thank
on
you.
and sharing this gift that you're giving the world. And I'm hoping that it spreads quick so that we can get started with this new way of being.
Yeah, it is because of people like you. Thank you for believing in this opportunity. That's what it is, people. It's an opportunity. If the square peg isn't going in the round hole, guess what, people? We need to rethink this. After the past 2 years of a pandemic, we made some good decisions, and then there are some people that made pretty rotten, lousy decisions. So we have to learn from that. Again, this square peg is not going to fit in the round hole. So we need to start thinking of new solutions.
Yes, more
We're just, we're
creativity.
not, yeah, thank you. Let's not shuffle paper anymore. Let's think of new solutions.
Yes, I agree. Well, thank you, Tom. And if you do you want to leave them real quick with your website? I will reference it in the
Sure.
show notes, but yeah.
Scalarlight.com, SCALAR, scalarlight.com. Visit the website. Anybody is allowed to upload the photograph. Now, you can upload family photographs, get their permission, include your pets. Watch how your
Yeah.
dogs, your cats, your horses, your birds, watch how your cows, if you're a farmer, watch how your cows respond to these sessions. This
Okay.
works.
Wow. I never thought about animals, but that makes sense too. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks again, Tom. This has been an honor to
Well,
have you on the show and a pleasure.
thank you.
Thank you.